Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. We've got Alex here today from Tasklet to talk about mobile WMS system for Dynamics 365 Business Central. Hi there, Alex.
Hey, Melissa, thank you. Yeah, like Melissa said, guys, my name is Alex Vescovi. I am an employee of Tasklet Factory, and I'm going to be demoing our mobile WMS solution today for Dynamics 365 Business Central, or if you're on the older on-prem version NAV, our solution works as well for that. So yeah, I'll get into a quick about 5-minute PowerPoint presentation here. Hopefully it won't take too long. And then we'll go over the hardware piece of it, and I'll just kind of go on our website and show you guys what hardware is compatible with our software, what we would recommend to you guys for barcode scanners, and then I'll get into the demo of our software. So here's a quick company profile of Tasklet Factory. So again, we are a mobile WMS solution specifically for the Microsoft Dynamics ERP system and suite, in this case, Business Central and NAV. We've been in business for, this is our 12th year in business. We'll be going on 13 next year. So we were founded in 2008. We have over 650 customers worldwide. And then just a little statistic that I pulled out before. We currently are now over 100 plus 365 Business Central customers in total out of our customer base, because we also do NAV, the older versions like AX, and then also F&O. So there are different ERP systems we integrate within Microsoft, but we're now over 100 officially for Business Central, which is great. And then we, out of those 100 plus, I think we're about 104, 105, 39 of those customers are currently SaaS or Business Central Cloud customers. So you guys know, Business Central Cloud hasn't been available for, more than about 2 to 3 years. So we've seen a lot of growth, with a lot of people, customers transitioning from Nav over to Business Central Cloud, or just getting new customers that were on a different legacy ERP system, or maybe they were on Acumatica, Oracle, and then they switched over to, or didn't have an ERP system and then switched over to Business Central and then implemented our WMS solution. So that 39 number is worldwide, and we've seen quite a bit of growth here in the US as well over the past couple of years. And we have offices in Denmark, so we're headquartered out of Aalborg, Denmark, and I sit out of our US Tampa, Florida office. I am not Danish, so that's why I don't have a Danish accent, but we have a smaller team in our US office sitting out of Tampa, Florida now. And here is our value proposition. So I don't want to spend too much time on this. You guys will see most of this in the demo. But our solution is very user-friendly. It's easy for the end users, the warehouse workers, to navigate. Training time, I think, is very minimal compared to the other solutions that are possibly out there on the market. That's kind of what we pride ourselves on, is to keep our solution very simple and easy to use for the warehouse workers. The second point under that is we are installed within 2 days. So our mobile WMS solution in a test environment or a sandbox environment is installed within 2 days. So that's just not to get it confused with, you guys are probably up and running and live with the solution in 2 days. We do have some customers that need a quick transition or turnover time, so it can happen within a relatively short amount of time, within a few weeks. But within that test or sandbox environment, we can get the solution up and running in that type of environment in 2 days. The first day is to get the mobile devices set up and configured with the app, and then the second day is where our support and delivery team will then install the objects if it's on-prem, or if it's BC Cloud, for example, you guys would actually go through AppSource if you're familiar with that. And then you guys would basically download our source code via extensions, and then Encore would be the ones that kind of help you guys do that. It's a relatively easy transition process and installation process to go through AppSource to get that done. The third point here is we're easy to customize. So our solution is very customizable. We do have a lot of our customers that don't just use the standard solution. I would say probably more often than not, we have customers that do some type of customization, whether it's something small, like changing font or adding descriptions to item cards or something like that, or doing stuff like changing item images, or changing the name of a functionality, simple stuff like that. Or if it's a very large customizations where we actually have a UK customer who's added totally new functionality to the solution to be able to support what they were already doing in their ERP system, and they wanted to reflect it on the mobile device. There's not a lot that we can't handle. You just need to have the customization already done in Business Central, and work with Encore on that before you guys actually customize the application or our server-side code. So it's not, our solution is very customizable. We have customers that do it all the time, and we want to be able to support your guys' ERP system and how you guys are using it in terms of barcode scanning. And then the last point here is the on and offline functionality. So I'll try to go over this in the demo where that comes into play, but we do have offline functionality to where when you have the lines already downloaded to the mobile device, you can go completely offline. Typically this would be something used like maybe in receiving or picking. Where I usually show it is in receiving, to where you're online, you get the lines downloaded to the mobile device, then you go offline and actually do the barcode scanning where you don't need that Wi-Fi connectivity, or if it's like a 4G LTE coverage or something like that, and you're using cellular data, you actually don't need to have that when doing the barcode scanning. Okay, and then this is the last slide, so the technology slide. The operating systems, we used to do Windows Mobile and Windows Embedded Handheld. We do not anymore. Those are end of life. Most of our customers that were on that have now went on to Android. So really, this is the preferred operating system. This is the one that we integrate with at all times. So whatever hardware piece you guys have or are looking into, that I'll be going over here in a second, they're all Android operating system based. So this is going to be the operating system that you guys will be on with our solution and on the mobile devices. The application, .NET application written in C#, and then you can see, that we communicate with the ERP server via web services. And then the upper right-hand corner, it'll show you guys, the different ERP systems that we integrate with. So if it's on-prem or an older version like Nav, we go all the way back to version 4.0. We're talking with a customer even currently that's on 4.0 looking to switch to Business Central. So even if you're on a very old version of Nav, that doesn't mean you can't use our solution. Or if you're now looking to, implement Business Central on-prem or cloud, we can go through that migration process with you guys with our solution. And like I said, we have customers both on-prem and cloud. It's, maybe like 70-30, 60-40, but we've done over 100 implementations. So, our support team and implementation team is very used to doing these implementations for Business Central. It's not something new to us. And then the bottom right-hand corner, you can see the device management system that we use, which is called Mobi Control. So this is actually how I'm going to be doing the demo for you guys today. But you guys can remote control the devices. It's a system, basically something that we work with as a partnership with the company called Sodi. Their product Mobi Control it's a true device management system, so you can remote control the devices. It's oftentimes how we do support issues to look into your guys' situation and figure out what's going on. Moving the devices from a production environment to a test environment or what warehouse they're in, being able to see where the devices are located, locking down the devices, being able to do all that type of stuff. Something that comes with our solution. I mean, we bill for it, but it's something that comes with our solution that you might not get to see with another WMS application out there. Okay, so I will now go over this hardware slide, like I mentioned. So this is just under hardware, the hardware tab under taskletfactory.com. So that's where you can find this. So we have, it looks like 24 devices now. It's usually floating between 20 and 25 devices. So they maybe added some more recently. So the devices on here are all approved by us. They've been tested by us, and we know that our software will work well on the hardware and that we can implement on these. If you have a question about a device, if you want to know pricing, anything like that, you can message us and we can talk to you about it in more depth. We do have a hardware partner called Redline Solutions. They're based out of California. And they're the ones to actually sell our customers the hardware. We can discuss the needs with you guys or the functionality, and then they would just be the ones to actually sell it to you in the US. But as you can see, most of the devices on here are Zebra or Honeywell devices. So if you're in the warehousing industry or supply chain management, and you guys have used barcode scanners in the past, you know that Zebra and Honeywell are basically the two biggest players within mobile devices in terms of barcode scanning and hardware. So we have most of the models for Zebra and a lot of them for Honeywell on here as well. We have very ruggedized devices like the MC3300, which are kind of big blocker scan gun type of hardware. And then we also have the handheld hardware like a CT40 or like a TC72, where it's more like the size of an iPhone, but it is still ruggedized. It has the hard coat backing. It can take a beating and it does the barcode scanning, but it's more of a handheld device and it's all touchscreen based. So it just depends on your guys' needs. And if you guys, want to go on here and then figure out some filtering options on, you just want to see Honeywell or if it needs to be in a freezer type of environment or just cold storage type of environment, you can click on that and then see what pops up, and it'll kind of go through the list and cipher through that, then figure out which ones you need. Like for the freezer environment, we have these 3 options. So if you need it to be in that type of environment, you'll need to go with one of these 3. So just to make sure, it is very important for our delivery and implementation team that you guys do choose a device that is off of our approved hardware page. And now I will get into the demo. So this is the mobile device that, it's also on our recommended or approved hardware page. This is a Honeywell CT40/60. So like I said, a little bit bigger than an iPhone. You can see it does have like the hard coat backing on it, so it is ruggedized. And then these side pieces here are what you hold down to then scan the barcode. And then the barcode reader is just up here, so you would point it at the barcode and then scan it. So I'll go over most of the functionality here today. Unfortunately, I don't have the device in my hand because I'm working from home, so maybe I can't show every single piece of functionality all the way through from start to finish, but I'm going to try to show you guys as much as I possibly can. So all of this functionality is pretty much standard stuff within Business Central. So receiving, putting items away, picking items, getting things ready for sales orders, if you're doing transfer orders, if you guys are familiar with warehouse receipts, inventory picking, warehouse picking, all that stuff that comes in Business Central is supported by the pick functionality. If you guys use inventory counting, so where that pulls information from in BC is the warehouse physical inventory journal, where it posts back to. You guys can do cycle counting, you can do unplanned counting, so ad hoc counting if you don't want to create count orders. Item movements, so that would be between different bins within the same warehouse. You can do planned moves, you can do unplanned moves, you can do bulk moves where you're moving all of the items from one bin into another bin to free up bins. And then there's some other nice to have features on here like substitute items, bin content, locate item, stuff like that that are very easy to show. And then some other functionality down here which I can describe that's kind of newer to our solution, like print label. Okay, so I'll start with the receive functionality. So first thing I'll show, in the upper right hand corner, there is a filter option that you guys can filter on. So we do have customers that have configured or customized a solution, or asked more so to be able to customize the filtering options, which you can do. You can also configure things to be able to show more or less, on the setup side of it in Business Central whenever you're implementing the solution. So this is just out of the box what you would typically get. So you can filter on location. So what location am I at in the warehouse, or what warehouse location am I in? I'll say I'm at the white location. The expected receive date, I'm going to keep that as today, but it'll show all of the days before today as well, up to today for the receive order. So if there's anything outstanding from yesterday or the week before, whatever, that'll still show up until today. The PO number. So if the warehouse worker does know the PO number, he or she can just type that in manually, whatever the PO number is, and then they can apply it and it will take them right to the PO number. I don't think that's how most of our customers use the solution, because you don't need to have a PO number to get in. You can actually just start by scanning an item barcode and it takes you right into the PO. And then the assigned user ID. So if you guys were to choose what, I guess, purchase orders you would like to assign to a certain user, you can do that. And if you guys did that, then this user could say only my orders that are assigned specifically to my user ID. Or if you don't do that and basically anybody can see the receive orders, you can either just do all and then mine and unassigned and then hit apply. Once you apply the filter, the POs will pop up. So like I said, instead of having to click into a PO, you can just start by scanning a barcode. And if that item is on more than one PO, it'll pull up all of the POs it's on, so then it will filter even further down to the POs that it's on, and then you can click into that. Or if it's only on one PO, then it's just going to go directly into the PO. Unfortunately, I don't have the scanner with me to scan the barcodes, and I could actually show you how that would work. So for right now, I'll just click into a PO and act as if I scanned an item. So typically what I would do is I would scan an item, and then say I scan the oranges, and then the oranges were the only one on this PO. They're not on different POs. It would just take you right into here. So it's very convenient to be able to start working on the item cards with our solution and to get into a PO and start working on it. From this point, all you do is scan the item in again. and then you're just going to verify the quantity that you're receiving into inventory. So you can just click on 10 and change this to whatever you need to change it to. Maybe all 10 aren't there right now, but we'll just say they are. Hit the green check mark. And then I'll move on to my next product, which are the pistachios. So let's say all 15 aren't right here. I scan my item in. Let's say there's only 10 here. And then if you haven't finished scanning all the inventory for an item, it does have that orangish yellowish color, just meaning that you haven't finished the inventory. Unlike this item right here, which you've already finished the inventory, it has that green line or hash next to it, meaning that you've finished the inventory for an item. So I don't have to finish scanning the inventory for this item before going on to a different item. I can just go on to a different item. So I'll scan this one in, the peppermints. And the peppermints are lot number tracked. So if you guys do use lot numbers, and this is typical within the food and beverage industry for what we see, because they have expiration dates and they need those lot numbers and that tracking, then you can then set an expiration date. So I'll set the expiration date. Maybe that's on the package. Maybe it's June 30th. I'll move forward. I'll then scan my lot number. I don't have the lot number in front of me right now, unfortunately, but I'll just act like I do. You could usually scan this. This is actually something maybe relevant to talk about. If you don't have the barcode in front of you, a workaround for that would be, or if the barcode reader isn't working or something, you can actually just manually type in what the lot number is on here. So maybe just say it's lot-01. I'll hit the green check mark, and then I'll verify the quantity. And again, this can be changed to whatever you need it to, but we'll just say all 15 are there. Okay, and then if you do a long hold on the item for about 1 second, there'll be this sub menu option that comes on, and you can click on registrations. So if you ever want to see what you've typed in or what you've scanned, this would be a good thing to do. And I think it's probably more relevant within put away or like move, where you actually can see all the registrations where you've moved items or where you've put something away onto a specific bin, right? But if you ever want to see if you do type something in to see what you typed in, make sure it was right, you can always click on registrations. And then if something has been messed up, if you didn't type in the lot number correctly, you can do another long hold on the item for about 1 second, or the registrations rather, and then delete it, and then go back, and then basically you can just start from scratch. So whatever's been done on the mobile device before it's actually been posted and the information has been sent into Business Central, you can completely undo anything that you've done and then restart fresh. So just because you scan something in, it's not the end of the world, and it doesn't mean you have to post it or leave it there or have somebody change the information in Business Central and then update it. You can just, delete whatever you need to delete in terms of the registrations and then start the process over again. And then I'll show you what receiving would look like for items that are serial barcoded. I don't have my serial barcodes in front of me right now, unfortunately. So maybe I'll just type in a random number, see if this goes through. And then at this point you would be scanning in your individualized serial barcode. So this is, for something, we've had different customers use it for different reasons, but the first thing I did is I scanned, the bigger, maybe larger Titleist golf ball box, and now I'm scanning the individual serial barcodes. If you do scan in a serial barcode twice and it knows that, you're not supposed to register that, an error message will come up. So it does make sure that you're scanning in the correct serial barcodes whenever you need to. Unfortunately, I can't show this that well because I don't have the barcodes in front of me, unfortunately, but that is how it works. I'm going to delete these registrations really quick and then show you what a manual posting process would look like. So I'll delete these 2 registrations. So if you haven't completed everything within the PO like has been here, so maybe I only want to post this one item, for example, that's up here, which are my oranges, and I don't want to post all of the other 3 or 4 that are on here. I can click on the menu and then hit post. So this is what I consider a manual post. And then if you want to scan or enter a delivery note number, you can do that. So if these are barcoded, you can just scan the barcode, or if you type those in manually, maybe I'll just type in Del-1. There's going to be this unexpected quantity message that comes up, and then you're just going to say yes, that I do want to post. The order was posted successfully, so you get the message, and then that item has been sent off into Business Central. The correct fields have been and tables have been updated, and that will be registered into inventory. As a receive, you first, and then you need to put it away before it's actually registered into the bin. But right now it's been received. and then I can start, working on the rest of these items, or I can come back to them later. So if I was to back out, we get this question sometimes, if you're to back out all the way back to the home screen and then come back in to receive and then go back into the same PO, is everything still there? So just showing you that process, everything is still here. So if somebody needs to take a break, if somebody's on a lunch break, if somebody has to go to the bathroom or something and they need to, or if they're going to a different functionality completely, then what you can do is just start the process over again and get into that, that process or functionality again. And I apologize if you hear any background noise. That is the perks of working from home right now. Okay, so if I go into the next feature, which is put away, I will click into the first one here. That's not the one that I received, I believe. There we go. So now that I posted that receive order, and I only did it for that one item, it does auto generate a put away order though. So typically how it would be is you would, receive everything within the PO and post that, and then you would have all the items in here. I only did it for this one item to show you what a partial posting would look like. But now that I did receive this item, it did auto generate the put away order. So now I can put this item away. I'm going to scan the item in. I'm then going to scan the bin that I'm going to be placing the item onto, and this does have the expected bin. So if you guys do use bins and the expected put away feature within Business Central, then you can enable that functionality to where the warehouse worker can already know where to put the item away on, and then they're going to enter the quantity that they're placing onto the bin. Now, if you need to place an item onto multiple bins, I can show you that functionality as well. So the use case I would typically give here is if an item needs to be on one bin, but say that bin is too full and you need to place them on multiple bins, so splitting an item between two bin locations. So what I can do here, I'll go to my loudspeakers, I'll scan the item in, I will scan the bin that I want to place the item onto, and again, maybe I can only put half of the inventory on this bin because it's just a little too full. So I'll place the 6 there. I'll scan the item in again. I'll then scan in a new bin. Right here, I'm having to manually change it, but that's fine. I'm placing them onto my O2 bin. And then once you basically say that you want to use a new bin different than the expected bin, there's just going to come up with a message, and you can just override the system and hit yes, I do want to place it on that bin. And then you're going to verify the quantity you're placing onto the new bin. And then again, this is where the registrations probably comes in handy. So I do a long hold, click on registrations, and I can see the item and then what bin it's been placed on, and then the inventory that's on each bin for that item. And then again, if I was to finish everything within this put away, and maybe I'll just show it real quick so you can see what the automatic posting process looks like. So I'll finish my inventory for these, scanning the item, scan the bin. It would obviously take a minute probably to put away all 320, but we'll just say we do that in about 2 seconds for the fun of it. And then once you're done basically with everything in here, then you get a confirmation message saying, hey, you've already done everything within the put away. Are you ready to post? So this is what the auto post looks like. You're not partially posting some of one item or 2 items out of the 4. Everything's done. It's going to ask if you're ready to post. You hit yes, that you are. Yeah. It exceeds what the amount was. But anyways, then you would normally get a verification message on here that says everything's posted, and then that put away order would be complete. And that's the same process for receiving. That's the same process for picking. So all of the order-based transactions. Okay. So that is put away. I'll move on to pick now. So like I mentioned kind of at the start when I was describing the functionalities, pick can be used for a multitude of things, what you're picking for, right? So it creates, the pick order, the pick ticket, but you can pick directly from a sales order in Business Central, which isn't even part of the WMS application part of it. So you can pick directly on a sales order. You can pick for transfer order, so transferring something from one warehouse location to another warehouse location that you guys have. And again, you can do it from the warehouse receipts. You can do it from Yeah, I mean, you can just do it from a multitude of things. So warehouse pick and inventory pick. So there's like 4 or 5 different things that you guys can use in Business Central to then generate the pick order. I'll click into my first one here, see if this is the one I want. Yep, it is. So this has already been registered. I'll deregister this real quick. Okay. So the first item is just a standard item. The second item is lot number tracked. So for the first item, this process is going to look identical to what put away looked like in terms of the barcode scanning. So you scan the item, you're going to scan the bin that you're taking the item from, and then you're going to verify the quantity that you're picking from the bin. Now, a process that has been added to this is tote picking, and tote picking and shipping, which you might have seen at the bottom of the screen when I was going through the different functionalities. So how somebody could use the tote picking or enable that, you need to be doing something like that in Business Central already. But if you want to enable that, what the process would be is maybe you scan in the item. So I'll try to walk through the process with you, even though it won't show up here. You'll then scan the bin that you're taking the item from. This has a lot number, so then you would scan the lot number. We'll just do lot-001, type that in, verify the quantity, and then after you verify the quantity, or maybe even before, it would then ask you now to then scan a tote barcode or a tote ID. So, this is something that you guys would have to set up if you're not already doing, but say that you're using that in Business Central, then it would prompt you to do that here, and it would ask you to scan, whatever tote that you're now placing. You're picking the items and then you're placing them into the tote, and how the process would go is after you place them in the tote, that tote is what would get ready for packaging and shipping. So it kind of just helps some of our customers be able to help with the packaging and shipping process, even though we don't, necessarily take care of the shipping process. There's other, ISVs out there like Lanham's eShip product. I know ChargeLogic used to. PaceJet is another one that we work with. So there's a multitude of shipping, that ISVs that take care of that part, but this is just to help to get ready for the packaging part. So right now it would be prompting you, if you use the tote picking, to then basically scan a tote here and then verify the quantity. But that's what the standard pick process would look like without tote picking. For example, you're just scanning in the item, scanning the bin you're taking it from, and then verifying the quantity that you're taking from the bin. And then again, if you decide to use something like tote picking, we do have some customers that use that. It would just ask you to then scan or type in what the tote ID or scanning the tote barcode there. So it's just one extra step that you would do. Okay, I'll now go on to the count feature. So the count feature really is a planned count. So this is something that is used typically for cycle counting with a lot of our end users, where the unplanned count is something that is used ad hoc. So you're counting inventory unexpectedly. Somebody doesn't want to create a whole count order for you to take account of maybe just one item on one bin, right? That's where the unplanned count can come in handy. So if I click into here, you should see where it's being pulled from. Yep, the warehouse physical inventory journal at the white warehouse. So this will also post the information back to the journal, so that whoever's looking at the journal can then post that into the inventory. So it's kind of a two-step process to where it's posting back to the journal. It won't affect the inventory. So then someone can look off on the journal first and then post that. So I've already counted all these items. I'll just, delete the registrations for one. It's not, this is very, very similar to what I've already shown. Pretty much identical, but just to show you what the process would be. And you can see all the items in here. So when you create, a count order or whatever you're doing, and you want to do cycle counting, and you want to create, count for, maybe 50 out of the 100 items, or maybe you want to get cycle count done for all of your items, you could do that. You could have all of your items and get all of the updated inventory count for everything. So you could just put all of your items in here and then have whoever, if it's designated to a certain warehouse user or different users, go count that inventory. So it is, this is typically what's used for cycle counting. Whether it's on a weekly basis or biannual or annual basis, we have customers that use it in different ways. So scan in the item, scan the bin that the item's on, and then manually enter the count. So this is more of a blind count to where they don't already know what's in there. That's a configuration setup. If you want to have the number of the inventory that's already on there, you can configure it to say 0 out of 20 and it'll actually show. This is set up as a blind count, so they do have to take a true inventory count and then enter it, hit the green check mark, and then yeah, it'll show what they took account of here. Okay. And I'll move on to unplanned count now. So the big difference I would say between count and unplanned count, besides what I was saying for the functionalities where it's posting it, the unplanned count can be posted directly as the inventory. So it'll skip the journal process, which some of our customers don't like that because obviously it's affecting the inventory and the warehouse worker is affecting the inventory directly where it doesn't post back to the journal first and it will just, update the inventory. So there is a setup where you can actually have it set up. It's really just how you want it set up. So in the configuration or mobile WMS setup part in VC, changing that to where you want it to post back to the journal entry first and not directly to the inventory. So just so you know that this doesn't have to post back to the inventory, you would just need to make sure you're setting it up to post back to the journal first. So here's the unplanned count. So again, it's not showing all of the orders like the other processes I showed. So like receive, put away, pick and count, all of those I consider order-based transactions or order-based functionality where the order is being created in BC and released to the mobile device and the warehouse worker already knows what they need to do or take account of or receive or whatever. This is unplanned. So you're initiating the transaction on the mobile device to start and then it's sending the information to the Business Central. So it's kind of doing it in reverse. So you'll start by scanning an item. And again, I wish I had my barcodes in front of me. I apologize that I don't, but you can enter TF-001. So hopefully this is an item. I don't know if it'll actually go through because I'm kind of just taking a stab at it here. But say that you scan in your item, you'll then scan a bin that item is on. So W, and again, you could just enter the bins too if you need to always, but the ideal way would be to actually scan the bin. And then you're going to enter the quantity counted. So then you do 2, you'll hit the green check mark, and then that will update the inventory count. Unfortunately, I don't think it'll work because of the numbers that I'm putting in. They're not the actual accurate numbers. Probably give me an error message here. Oh, no, it actually did work. So I got lucky and typed in one of the correct items there. So for that, the unplanned count was completed. So it just gives you an updated, basically message just saying that it, validation, hey, it went through. For the other order-based transaction, there is a posting process. So for all of the unplanned, which is basically just unplanned count and then unplanned move, you just get a verification message that something was done and there is no posting process per se. And then whatever you do for an unplanned count, it will affect these functionalities immediately. So locate item and bin content. So then if I was to look up that item, that updated inventory count is updated immediately. So it does affect these real time, even on the mobile device. Okay, I'll move on to the move features now though. So that's counting, and that's the difference kind of between what cycle counting would be used for and then something where you don't want to have to create a count order or you're not doing cycle counting and you just need an updated inventory count for maybe one item, for instance, like I did there. Okay, so I'll move on to move. So for move, I'm moving items between 2 different bins within the same warehouse. Okay, so I'm not moving items between 2 different warehouse locations. This is all taking place within the same one warehouse location. So just to be clear on that. So this one I already registered, so I'll go through this one. So when you are moving, it will say the from bin. So I'm going to be taking 40 pieces and from the 050010 bin to the 0601 bin. So they already know ahead of time where they're getting it from, where they're moving it to, and the inventory that they're moving. So you'll scan the item in. You're going to scan the bin that the item is on and that you're taking the item from, so hence the take part there. And then the quantity that you're taking from the bin. Once you've done that, so you're halfway done, maybe you put that on trolley, forklift, whatever. You get to your new bin, you scan the item, barcode in again. You'll scan the bin you're placing the items onto, the new bin, and then verify the quantity you're placing onto the new bin. Okay, and then once you're done, that's your process. And again, if you want to see the registrations that you've done, just do a long hold, click on registrations, make sure everything looks good. You can see the item and the different bins that you've moved them to. You took them from this bin, moved it to that bin, shows you the inventory, all that good stuff. Okay. So that would be move. And then for unplanned move, yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to actually show this one from start to finish because I don't know if I know all of the bins and the items off my head that well. But just to go through what it would look like, you're scanning in an item. You're then going to enter a bin that you're taking the item from at this point. So I'll enter my default bin here. You're going to verify the quantity that you want to move. We'll say we want to move 2 of them. And then we'll enter our new bin that we're placing the items onto. And really here you would actually be scanning this, not entering it most likely, but in my case. Yeah, I don't know if it'll go through because that might not be a bin, but yeah, it's not a bin location. See if I add one more 0, what'll happen. Yeah, you have to use a real bin. So unfortunately, like I said, I don't have the barcodes in front of me, but that would be the process. And then you would just get a verification message like I did for the unplanned count that the unplanned move was completed. And if you're trying to move inventory, even like here, that a bin doesn't exist, it's not going to let you do it. If you're trying to move too much inventory that's not even there in inventory, it won't let you do it. So it's only going to let you actually move the items that are registered in Business Central, on certain bins. So I can't move 10 items of the pistachios if there's only 5. It won't let me do it. Okay, so that's how unplanned move would work. And then unplanned move also affects locate item and bin content immediately. So if you are moving an item from say the O1 bin to the O2 bin, it will affect whenever you try to scan an item and locate it. It will affect that inventory immediately on the mobile device, and it will do that as well in Business Central. And then for bulk move, so what bulk move really is you're moving all of the items in inventory from a bin to a new bin. So you're basically freeing up bin space. So in theory, this bin, not even in theory, just in reality, this bin will be completely empty, assuming you actually take all the inventory out. So I'm going to be scanning in, I don't know, I'm going to check my bins real quick to make sure that this is actually a real bin this time so we can make sure that it goes through. So we'll say we're going from the 03002 bin over to the 001 bin. Again, this process is taking me just a little bit longer than normal because I usually would have my barcodes in front of me. And over to my 001. See if it goes through for me. Submit. Yep. So then the bulk move has been completed. Now all of the inventory that is from that 02 bin has been moved to the 01 bin. So then if I tried to, for example, if I go back here and just to show you kind of what I'm talking about, just so you know I'm not BSing you. If I go to bin content and I was to enter in my 02 bin now, since I've already moved all the inventory from the 02 bin to the 01 bin, as you saw, there should be nothing left in inventory here. So let's see if I'm right. Make this my 03 bin, accept. Yep, and there's nothing here. So that's the bin that I had taken all of the contents from. So like I said, if I was to scan that before, it would have shown all of the inventory, but now that I moved everything out of it into the 01 bin, there's nothing here. So now if I do my 01 bin, there should be more than one product here. Should have both the products from both bins. Yep, and it does. So it has the oranges and the pistachios. So it was either the oranges or the pistachios. I think it was probably the oranges that I moved basically from the 02 bin to the 01 bin. And if I wanted to, I can move them right back too. So I can move all of the bin contents from the 01 bin back to the 02 bin and vice versa. So in essence, what bin content does though is you just scan a bin and it's going to show you the item, the item name or number here and the inventory that's within the bin. And then locate item is kind of the opposite of that. So instead of scanning a bin, you're actually just scanning an item and it's going to tell you all of the bins that that item is on within a specific location. So I'll type in my item number, see what comes up. So for this item number, again, normally I would scan that. It shows me that it's in the white warehouse, which is what I've already filtered on. It'll show me the bin that it's located, has the units of measurement on there. I'm sure you can add some other things that you want to pull from Business Central if you want. You know, there's some more space down here that you guys could add for, you know, if you wanted a customization, different information that you would want to show. If it had a lot number or serial number, those things are likely to be added down here as well. So it also shows that. But then here, it'll show the inventory. And what the first 95 means out of 100 is really there's 95 available for picking, and there's 100 physically there in inventory right now. So what the situation here likely is there's a sales order out or a pick ticket or something for this specific item on that specific bin for 5 of the pieces. So there's still 100 there in inventory, but really there's 95 available for picking. Okay, so that's locate item. That's what I would typically show in a standard demo. To go over some of the other features here, it would help if I had my, you know, actual device with me, but just to go over some of the other features like print label. So this is a new feature that we have that we've released for a lot of our BC customers. You could even do it on an AV. It's a little more work, but we do have a workaround. If anybody is, you know, familiar with Business Central, if you're running on it, there has been problems with printing out barcode labels from BC. We do have a workaround for our solution, you know, another outside solution that we work with that's a cloud solution that helps us do this. The only requirement really that you need to be able to utilize the print label feature is having a Zebra printer. So it doesn't matter the model of the Zebra printer. So it doesn't matter, you know, if it's, we have different versions, right? We don't really resell the versions, but it doesn't matter what version of Zebra printer it is. It just needs to be a Zebra printer. So you need to make sure it's not Honeywell or some other Epson, some other type of printer that you're going to be getting. It needs to be a Zebra printer, but it doesn't matter if it's like a smaller handheld printer or a larger one. We can work with those. And then the situation here would be if you do want to print basically it's for barcode labels, right? We can utilize a customization if it needed to be for something else, like a pig ticket or a pig slip or something. But really this is for barcode labels. So if you're wanting to print out the barcode labels and generate the label or really the print job from the mobile device, then you can do that here. So you could enter if they have lot numbers or serial numbers, you know, you could add those here, the item, the expiration date. Not all of these would be utilized right every time. This is just an example. The quantity, you know, then you could choose the printer that you want to use. If you have multiple connected to a mobile device, more of them will pull up here. But you know, you say you only have one, and then you can also enter the quantity that you want to print out. So generating it from the mobile device is able to be done now. We have a lot of our customers that are interested in this because you can't really do it from Business Central, and there's been problems with it. So this is you know, a new feature, and it's also integrated within some of our other features. So you can also integrate this within Receive or Pick, for example, where we're seeing a lot of our end users using it within Receive or Pick as like a sub menu option. So kind of like how I was showing with registrations. So if I go back and kind of show you where it would be used, this could be used within Receive, for example. And if I go on to a specific item card, so if I go back into my London Postmaster PO, and then I want to do it for a specific item. So if I do a long hold on this item, and then there'd be a sub menu option that comes up, I could then click there. You know, you need to add it, right, and configure it. But then we could add the print label functionality for you here. You would then click into the print label, and then it would, you know, ask you how many you want to print into what printer and that type of stuff. But you could then print out the barcodes for that specific item and say how many you want to print out right from Receive. So that's typically, I think, the use case that we give, because that's where you would see it more often used, is kind of within a functionality like that where you need to print the labels out on the fly. Or if it's for pick and if you need to re-barcode something or print out your own labels when you're picking an item and before it's getting shipped out, then you can also integrate the print label within that and then print out the barcodes. So that is a very, you know, new feature that we've made a part of our standard solution. It used to be a customization, now that's a part of standard. So you will get this with the standard solution, so being able to trigger the print job from the mobile device. And then, like I was mentioning earlier, we have other stuff like tote picking and tote shipping, where you're placing items into totes and then shipping them out. Tote shipping would just be, you know, scanning the tote, verifying that those items within the tote have shipped. You know, some other nice to have features like item cross-reference, where you're registering a totally new barcode. So this is in the cross-reference functionality within BC. So if you're familiar with that, adding a new barcode and associating with a certain item. So then if you scan that new barcode, it's just like you're scanning the old barcode that was already registered with it. So you can add more than one barcode to associate with certain items. That's what that feature's for. Adjusting quantity, so negatively adjusting inventory if you need to do that. Substituting items, where if you can, if an item is very similar, you're just basically substituting it out for a certain item before you're shipping it, stuff like that. So there is some other nice to have features. The ones that I went over today are, the most commonly used and the most commonly needed features though. So, receiving, counting, moving, stuff like that. And if you guys do have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. We can go over some more in-depth things. And when I actually have a mobile device in my hand, I was still luckily able to show most of the features today that I wanted to show. But showing how the barcode scanning process works. If you have questions about customizations and stuff like that, we can talk about your guys' specific situation a little bit more and dive into it a little deeper. But hopefully this guys, gave you a little bit more of a comprehensive overview of what our solution can do and the tables and things that it reports back to in Business Central. So that's all I have today for the demo. Melissa, is there anything else that you want to add?
No, that's great. Thanks very much, Alex. I don't see any questions coming in, so I think we can probably wrap it up.
All right, sounds good.
All right, thanks everybody.
Thanks guys, bye-bye.